Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode of Israel and Palestine conflict. As we're trying to understand the situation a little bit better. So before I start, I hope you guys can see the screen well and everything. Anyways, let's start off with what's the IDF are saying. Pretty much, it's the Israeli defense force. Okay, so if you want to listen to us, listen to them. We're ready to blow up buses. We're ready to carry on missions and stuff. The Hamas terrorist organization has one goal: to annihilate the state of it, to murder Jews, both Israel's and stuff. You know, that's what they. That's what the video they're sharing. Um, so pretty much, they're showing a video of saying how Hamas is bad and everything. Uh, Anyways, let's go down. They say 6 rockets were just fired from Lebanon toward Israel, all of which fell inside Lebanon in response to forward the research and lunches. And earlier, they said IDF, they struck operation center, and they shared a couple of these videos um, before. Um, it's not first time. Okay, so anyways, let's keep going. 1 week ago, Hamas fired rockets at Israel's uh, capital, Jerusalem. Um, that week, Israel has. Anyways, let's keep looking. Okay, so the thing I want to focus on is this: sirens sounding again in northern Israel and stuff. So keep this in mind. The sirens, surrounding southern Israel, surrounding southern Israel, in response to non-stop rocket on Israel civilian. The IDF Operation Guardians on the Walls a week ago. Here's what happened so far: around 3,100 rockets fired. 10 Israelis dead. 90% Iron Dome operations. I want you to guys to remember all these details as we continue researching this a little bit. Um, what's at 9.3 miles kilometers, 19 Apple Towers, Burj Khalifa, nearly to Mountain Everest. Our fighters just neutralized 9.3 miles of Hamas metro terror system overnight. So right now, scientists sirens. So they're sending stuff depending on targets. Some measures include planning angle and time of the attack operation. So remember all of this. Our fighter jets currently striking terrorist targets and in Gaza. So these are all of the stuff they've been tweeting pretty much May 16, which was yesterday. Hamas, again saying this in response to continuing rocket attacks from Gaza. Israel will struck the entrance of Hamas tunnel and equipment as well as Hamas internal security Gaza. So this is all the stuff the IDF is saying. As a country would say. Um, uh, well, the UN remembered today that if they lived in Israel, 70% of their friends and family would be running from bombs and everything. Okay, so remember this and the siren sounding and everything. Okay, so they say like each time there is an attack from Gaza, they put sirens up to protect their people and stuff. Now let's get to the Palestinian side. So they said 10 is we just saw Israeli said that 10 people from Israel died, and they have the Iron Dome protecting them and their sirens where people go into the shelters, bomb shelters, etc. Now let's look at Israel, the type of conditions they are in. Okay, so this image right here is should I don't want to worsen your day, but look at this. Is this child mourning his dead mother? This was only shared an hour ago. Um, and here, remember the sirens? The Israelis say they have it. Look at Gaza. Do you hear any sirens? No sirens, right? Look at this one. Do you hear any sirens again? No sirens, right? So it means the citizens are not getting like the sirens protections which the Israeli people have. Look at this, man. Just look at this explosion, bigger than those tall buildings that it happened in, and it can happen in a split of a second. But in the background, there's no sirens or anything to warn the people, to get out and stuff. But let's keep going. Look, this is some of the pictures of the attack of the videos and stuff that we just saw. Focus, just look at this. It's another sad video, of Israeli girl. Just look at this. So, according to the Middle East Monitor, they said that Israeli human rights group says the state committing war crimes in Gaza. Now, I might be wrong, but I feel like what Israel is pretty much doing is they want to destroy as much property as they can while they can, because this is a perfect chance, for them to get rid of as many Palestinians as they can and stuff. Um, this was last night. The videos that I just showed you a minute ago happened just now, and this is from last night. So every night you can see, them being bombarded and stuff. And look at this. Look what they have to go through every night. They don't have bomb shelters. They don't have sirens which warn them that attack is coming. It just happens. And, you know, from what I read earlier, around over almost close to 200 people died. Now compare that to the 10 that happened in Israel. I'm not saying that the people that died in Israel is something to be proud of or to celebrate. No, no, of course not. We should never celebrate death. It's tragic, it's sad. But when you look at the both sides, you know which side has um, unfortunately, s- are mostly devastated. Look at this. Israeli strikes the Mushta Gaza city, which is home to 60 Palestinian families. This was so messed up. 60 families. If you do just 60 times 2 or times 3, which most family consist of just one child and let's say two parents, that's still so much. It's like 180 just if you do 3. Now we don't know how many were living there. Al-Wahida, Gaza City. This young man was under the rubble for 7 hours before workers eventually managed to get him. I don't know how can anyone live for that long, but when God wants to protect you, He does. A devastated father whose children were massacred last night in the neighborhood. I think this somebody said it was his uncle, not father. I don't know, but it doesn't matter who it was. But you can see the pain in his eyes. Going before your children, it's it's the most painful thing any human can experience. This tweet was like it's not about Muslim only. There is also Christians, Palestinians who are suffering. Honestly, whoever is living in the Gaza Strip, it doesn't matter what their religion is. They're all getting bombarded by the Israelis, and these are just some of the stuff that's currently taking place right now. So right here, look, this is the data which I hate to share, but here goes. World news: Israel and Hamas continue aerial bombardments as fighting enters a second week. At least 212 Palestinians, including 61 children, have been killed, and violence in Gaza, according to the local health ministry. Israel reported at least 10 deaths, including two children, as a result of 3,100 rockets launched from Gaza, according to Associated Press. Uh, you guys can see it's a pretty much one-sided annihilation. The defense Israel has is far, far, far superior compared to Palestine. So you cannot say that Palestinians are actually going to war with Israelis. It's just Israelis destroying them completely. I read this article by New York Times. I'll see if I can find it again and put the link in the description. It was talking about how this entire conflict started. It was related to something about when the holy month of Ramadan was starting, and the Israeli cut off their speakers because their president was speaking, and they didn't kind of want the overlay and stuff, but it was disrespectful, to the Muslims. This is one of their holiest sites and their holiest month and stuff, stopping their prayers and stuff like that. That's what brooded, but it goes way more than that. There's an animosity that's between people's hearts for a long time. Even Al Jazeera is sharing this. Israeli forces continue to shell Gaza City as dawn approaches. There is about 30 Israeli airstrikes overnight and also bursts of Palestinian rocket fire. So it's just a thing going back and forth. But the devastations on the Palestinian side is it's going to take years to rebuild. It's ridiculous. Um, here. NPR, they're saying House Foreign Affairs Committee Chairman Gregory Meeks to plan to send a letter to Biden administration requesting a delay of 735 millions in arms to Israel while lawmakers review a democratic edge. What the hell? Why are we sending so much of our tax dollar money to them? Everybody's by like, oh, we can't have universal health care and stuff. Why can't they just spend it here on their own people? For the benefit of their own people. Why send so much money to Israel, which they clearly, as you can see, what they use it for? Look at that picture in front of you guys. It's just ridiculous. And the amount of people they stay quiet regarding this is just tragic. And a few people the media control, I don't understand. On TikTok there's a few people, they uploaded about pro-Palestine videos and their accounts got deleted and stuff, so you can see how much control they have over the social media platforms, in all honesty. And um, how much they can control the narrative to their way if they want to, like Israeli, even though being the oppressor, trying to appear is the oppressed one. And what's the best way is to control the media around the world and um, give pretty much a show that from your perspective to the world, so they can feel sympathy for them compared to the crimes that you've been committing for decades and decades. But even that is not stopping anything. As you guys can see, it's many people are talking against it now, including some celebrities and stuff. Any social media, it's U.S. military chief warns a conflict between Israel and Palestinian militants. Hamas has created instability beyond Gaza, saying it is in no one's interest to continue fighting. He's right. It is in no one's interest uh, for the fight to go on, because there will be many tragedies on both sides. But you got to remember, it's not the Hamas. You can't just blame one side. You got to look at it, who's the stronger, who's the one that's doing the most damage, and who's been doing the most damage, and who's been taking land. And then pull up the victim card, and you got to see all the war crimes and all of the things they've been taking, how much land they took from the people. Even here, the United States, let's say somebody decides to take over the United States, and aren't the people going to pick up arms to protect themselves in self-defense and stuff? um, I guess they will say no, just stay, remain as a sitting ducks, and let them do what they want with you. The oppressors, and it's just a false thing to say. The only way I can see for this, to benefit both sides is if if it's equally divided, the state of Israel and Palestine. But it's such a conflict. The solution to it is just so hard. But one thing I don't understand is how people are coming from all over Europe and get to stay in Israel just because of their religion, but they kick off the very people they've been born there for generation and generation and generations. I will never understand that part. Israel shells southern Lebanon in response to earlier failed rocket launches from Lebanon that failed to cross the border. Oh man, I don't think you wanna Israel should involve any other countries, because this might turn into a global conflict. And if if it's not intervened with soon enough. Scores of young people in Sheikh Jarrah, the flashpoint of the turmoil sweeping Israel and Palestine, are seen recording every moment on their cell phone protest. This is one of the things that I'm grateful for the technology, is to record all of these things that are currently taking place around the world, which is pretty great. In all honesty, this way that no crime escapes the people. Because back in the day, if something happened, you had to take the word of the news people of whatever they said, you believed it. But now almost anyone can say anything and upload it. And one of the things I like about Twitter is it's everybody opinion, it's not just one individual. Look at this. Israelis explosion light explosion light up the sky as Israel struck Gaza. I'm sorry, but the type of weapons they're using on Israel, who has no defense, no Iron Dome, and no bomb shelters where they can go like the Israelis, people cannot compare these conflicts to be the same. I'm sorry. Uh, I'm sorry, but they're not the same. They're clearly not the same. One thing I hate about conflicts is that innocent people, dies in it in between. Um, Look at this. That's messed up. The guy's right there. I guess he wants to go help him, but they're not letting him. How are you gonna say that people not gonna, try to defend themselves when this kind of oppression is happening to them? Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu defends Gaza press building bombing. Of course, he's gonna defend it. He's gonna defend it. All the atrocity that he's doing right now. This is sad when the children has to go through all of this stuff. This is despicable. Imagine this happening anywhere else. How angry the people would be. You can say this probably is the daily life for many. I wanted this video to get to as many people as possible. As you guys can see, there's protests pretty much around all over the world. This is in Chicago. I know there was in New York, even here, or in Florida, there was a protest. Uh, it's just sad. Anyways, guys, let's see what else is taking place around the world. So my view before I end this video and talk about the other stuff that's taking place around the world. I know I haven't been doing the videos the way that I used to do, do like a video under 5 minutes about things that's taking place around the world, but it's just, I believe this Palestinian conflict is just so important compared to the other stuff that's taking place. I know important stuff are taking place in other countries too, like Myanmar, India. We have the COVID cases, which are going down. I'm glad I didn't check the today's stats of how the numbers are doing, but for the past couple of days they've been going down, which is good. Although the deaths has remained pretty high. Um, Other than that, things been pretty good. Okay, so Pfizer vaccine can now be stored in a fridge for longer. EU drug regulator say this is good news. Pfizer is the vaccine I actually got myself. Um, okay, let's see what's happening around the world. Ooh. Anyways, guys, my opinion regarding this whole Israel and Palestinian things is that it's not the same. Israelis, the defense they have, the Iron Dome, which barely any rockets escape, and they get early warnings because they know where the targets might gonna hit, and people can go to bomb shelters because they have the. What do the Gazan has? They don't have a warning system like the sirens, which goes around the cities like, "Hey, bombs are coming," or "You better get bombed." They don't have shelters where they can run into and hide, to be protected from that, and they don't have the Iron Dome to protect them. The conflict is clearly not the same. I feel like the entire world should intervene in any way they can to stop this from going further and further and find a solution for this conflict, which has been going on for so long. It needs to stop because the amount of tragedy, of atrocities that the Israelis did to the Palestinians, and even some people died in the Israeli side, is just unspeakable. And enough is enough. If this goes on, what if the Muslim world joins together and then, other countries help Israel? It's going to be a full-on scale of war, and that's something we don't need after a whole pandemic. This things are just getting out of hand. But they cannot remain quiet and just let these atrocity continue and continue on daily basis. So many people, innocent people, just keep dying. So do your best to do your part. Try to bring as much attention you can to this conflict that's going on, and may Allah brings a stop to this. Anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching. As always, tune in next time for more informative videos. Till then, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you guys next time.